having inappropriate or sexual relations with a high school student.
But none of them went to jail. All three got off with probation. KMAC's Victoria Price is here to explain why.
Lauren and Brian, the three cases you're about to see are all very similar. These women all confessed to their actions. They lost their jobs because of it. And as far as punishment goes, all three received what some consider basically just a legal slap on the wrist.
Good people sometimes get in trouble with the law.
But what happens when one of those good people also happens to be your child's teacher? In the past year and a half, 3 South Plains educators have admitted to having inappropriate relationships with high school students. First up, 26-year-old Morgan Miracle, a wife, a mother, and a former teacher at Muleshoe High.
Fine young lady, well educated, from a very good family.
In July of 2013, she confessed to carrying on an improper relationship with a student. A police report from 3 months earlier shows accusations that Miracle engaged in sexual contact with a 14-year-old and sent explicit text messages. She quit her job, and it was only then that Muleshoe ISD learned about the investigation. Next, 34-year-old Kristen Neal. The Terry County DA's office accused this former teacher of having a sexual encounter with a 17-year-old Wellman Union student. They say it happened back in 2010, but it wasn't until January of this year when she too pleaded guilty to having an improper relationship with a student. And then, most recently, 50-year-old Hope Warren, a former library aide at Floydada High School.
Very personable lady with a husband and grown children.
In July, she admitted to having sex with a male student earlier this year. We're told Warren resigned from the school in April, the same day Floydada police filed their incident report. Her charge, same as the others, improper relations with a student.
All three women could have spent up to 20 years in prison, but instead they got off with probation and didn't have to register as sex offenders. But would things have been different if they were men?
Well, that's a good question. There's definitely a double standard there.
Attorney Chuck Lanehart represented both Miracle and Warren.
I guess it's just human nature that that people treat males differently than females when it comes to sex offenses.
Both of his former clients, like Kristen Neal, had no criminal record whatsoever, and they still won't if they abide by the terms of their probation.
Deferred adjudication is a form of probation in which a defendant is not found guilty of the crime. If the defendant completes probation, the case is dismissed.
And even though having an improper relationship with a student is a second-degree felony, it's not a registerable sex offense by Texas law.
According to the Texas Education Agency, inappropriate relationships between teachers and students are on the rise. During the last school year, they investigated a whopping 179 different cases statewide. Out of those, 33% were committed by women.
A lot of times the females don't seem to get as much sentence time as a male teacher.
Clinton Gill is with the Lubbock Educators Association. He says he still wouldn't characterize this problem as prevalent in our area, but he sees how it can happen.
In today's society, many students come from broken backgrounds at home, so they may not have a motherly figure or a fatherly figure at home, and their safe place is school. And so many times they come to teachers. Sometimes, unfortunately, that bond becomes too close.
But Gill says that's still no excuse to take a teacher-student relationship to an inappropriate level.
Teachers are held to a higher standard, and they know that going into the profession that they've got a higher standard to uphold.
Now, we did make an attempt to reach out to these women through their attorneys to get their side of the story, but unfortunately none of them wanted to talk. So now we're reaching out to you. Did these teachers get off easier because they were women, or did they receive a fair punishment? We want to know what you think. Head on over to the KMAC News Facebook page. There you'll find this story. Feel free to let us know your thoughts. Lauren and Brian.
All right.